Welcome back to Casking Point. Today is going to be a lot of fun because we are going to be comparing Jack Daniel's Coy Hill from 2024 to Jack Daniel's Coy Hill from 2021. Now there's a lot of lore behind Jack Daniel's Coy Hill. A lot of people have said that this is the best product ever released by Jack Daniel's. Now those people haven't tried Jack Daniel's from the 1860s, so I'm not really sure if they can say that, but it's definitely the best one in modern history. Jack Daniel's has come up with some really nice annual releases in the last few years. Jack Daniel's from 2020, the Barrel Proof Rye, namely being an absolutely incredible release, but in 2021 they followed up with an even better release to most people. Now in the last few years they've done things that have been much more of a letdown. In 2022 they had an American single malt that most people didn't really care for, and then in 2023 they had a double oaked rye, which was good but didn't really stun anybody and definitely didn't compare to the 2020 release. But in 2024 they came back with Coy Hill Part 2. However, there's a little bit of an asterisk. That the Coy Hills in 2021, for some odd reason with the weather swings and the temperature over the course of the 9 years that they aged it, that Coy Hill ended up being between 138 and 148 proof, which is absolutely ridiculous. And in 2024, it just didn't get nearly as hot. In fact, they announced that it was 122 to 137.5 proof, and so not a single bottle from 2024 was going to be as high as the lowest from 2021. And so with proofs that don't even overlap, we have to see, did they really do any better? Now, I will note that the 2024 Coy Hill, I believe, is 2 years older, looking at around 11 years for the single barrels, whereas it is 9 years for the 2021. So we do have a little bit more age here, but we definitely have a huge proof swing. And so I wanted to get together, I wanted to compare these together, really see if the 2024 can compete at all with what many believe to be the best Jack Daniel's product ever released. So let's get right into it. So we're going to be starting here with the 2024. The 2024 that I have is 124 proof, and I decided to compare it against the 2021 that I have that's 142.4 proof. So kind of wanted to invert the numbers a little bit there with the 42 and the 24. So we have an 18 proof swing. Let's get right into it. On the nose here, there's a lot of banana, which I think is pretty standard for Jack Daniel's. A lot of sweetness as well coming off this, like a very nice caramel. Clearly a good amount of oak and a good amount of vanilla. There is charcoal on this, but it's much lighter than the charcoal I've gotten on a lot of other Jack Daniel's products, such as Jack Daniel's 10-year, which is pretty understandable. Overall, though, I'm getting a good amount of flavor and a good amount of sweetness, but there aren't a ton of notes to really pick out here. Let's try it. Interesting. That's good. That's really good. But there isn't a ton of flavor. To me, this is a bit sweeter of a version of the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof bourbons, or not bourbons, but the Tennessee whiskeys that are $60 that are on the shelf everywhere. And that is what a lot of people have been saying, that the 2024 Coy Hill, some of them are pretty good, and if you get the higher proofs, they're really good. But there isn't anything particularly special about this. To me, this is just a really good version of that $60 bottle. Which, to be clear, that $60 bottle is really good. And I think it's one of the best $60 bottles on the market that's easily available to everybody and that everybody should have on the shelf. And so this being even better than that is definitely a big compliment. And I will note, Jack Daniel's did only charge about $90 for this release. And I think a lot of people tend to forget that. I think a lot of people are really hating on Jack Daniel's for this 2024 Coy release because it doesn't come at all to the 2021 release. But it's still a $90 bottle, and this is really good for $90. And I would buy multiples of this at $90, and this is one of the lower proofs out there. So, to be clear, I don't think Jack Daniel's committed a grave sin by naming this Jack Daniel's Coy Hill. But anyways, and if you didn't know about Coy Hill is just a warehouse, and it's just a really good warehouse of Jack Daniel's. They have a lot of different warehouses. I believe 12 warehouses, and Coy Hill is the 12th warehouse, but I could be wrong. But anyways, this isn't really opening up too much. There's still just a ton of caramel sweetness on this, which is really nice. Definitely some banana, a little bit of pepper coming out. Overall, though, nothing like a Tennessee Dickel minerality or anything like that. I mean, really just a classic Jack Daniel's flavor profile here. Banana, a little bit of charcoal, a ton of caramel, some oak, a little bit of vanilla. It's very good. Let's take a second sip here. That's really solid. That's really solid. To me, it's competing with, I think, a lot of Stag Juniors. I don't think it's going to beat some of my favorite Stag Junior batches in the last few years, but I think it's definitely in that caliber. Like, we're looking around an 8.0 here on the rating scale. I think it's solid. I think for $90, I'd buy that. I'd buy 2, I'd buy 3. I wouldn't go crazy with it, and I definitely seek out a higher proof, and I think later on in the channel we'll try one that's even higher proof. We'll do an even closer comparison. If I can get my hands on a sample that's maybe mid 130s from 2024 and then low 130s from 2021, that could be a lot of fun, but we'll see if I can get the samples. But anyways, I think this is good. Let's go into 2021. Let's see how much better it really is. So as I said, this is 142.4 proof. Smells really nice. So it's definitely a very similar flavor profile, but it's doing a lot of things better. So there's a much richer, nicer oak on this. Like, this smells much older, even though I believe this is actually 2 years younger, but at that proof, the oakiness in there, you're just getting more of that oakiness, which makes you think, ah, more oak, it's older. This is really nice. This is great. Definitely some like refined banana on this. A good amount of caramel. I will say, it's not punching you in the face. I think some hazmat whiskeys, really, you can just smell all this heat. This actually isn't like that. Like, this is a little bit more mellowed out, which I really like, because I think you can actually drink this. But let's drink it and see if I can keep saying that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. So, there's some nice baking spices on this. Some really nice banana on this, like a nice candied banana, which honestly, I've never gone on any whiskey other than Jack Daniel's Coy Hill 2021. I think some other Jack Daniel's products may get pretty similar to that, like a really good single barrel bourbon. But yeah, this can't be topped. This is really nice. It smells older, it tastes older, even though it's not actually older. And I will note, this isn't really drinking 142 proof. I know some people have said that they have like 145 proof bottles and they just drink like fire. To me, and maybe this is just my palate today, and maybe I've just gone off the deep end with hazmat whiskeys recently, but it's not drinking insanely hot. This is drinking, like, I think it's drinking a little bit lower than its proof, which I think is good. I think in this particular example, it's actually very good that it's drinking lower than its proof, because I'm really able to get a lot of these flavors out, which make this, I think, a much better whiskey. This is going to be mid-8s for me. I've never been the biggest Jack Daniel's Coy Hill fan. I know a lot of people have said that this is just the best whiskey they've ever had in their lives. And honestly, if you like that candied banana, that charcoal from Jack Daniel's, you cannot beat 2021 Coy Hill. So I totally get it. I'm just not the biggest Jack Daniel's fan. And so while I do think that this is going to be on par with like a really bad year of GTS, for example, which is a huge compliment, I think, to anything, I still think bottles like these, I mean, at 142 proof, you're looking at probably $800, $850 on the secondary market. I don't think it's worth that. But honestly, it's worth probably half that, which is a lot. I mean, which is a lot to say. But anyways, let's get a second sip here. Let's give it a rating. Let's go back to 2024. Let's see what other things we could pull out. I mean, that's really good. It's definitely drinking a little bit hotter on the second sip, which is okay. I'm definitely getting some much more refined oak towards that late palate on this one. I think the finish here is at least medium length, maybe even medium to long length. Those really nice candied banana flavors really staying in there, which is by far my favorite part of this whiskey. I mean, to me, this is probably 8.3 to 8.5 range. I mean, this is nice. And I will say, I have tried this exact barrel before. I tried both of these barrels before, and I really did like the 2021, but I didn't think it was that stellar. But this is definitely much better. I think comparing them has definitely opened my eyes a little bit, and it isn't nearly as close as I think I would like them to be, and I think a lot of people would like them to be, but I still don't think they disrespected Coy Hill. It's not a world of difference, but there still is a lot of difference. Anyways, let's take this final sip here with you guys. Let's give it a rating. Let's go back to 2024. We'll give that a rating, and then we'll talk about our results. That's good. That's good. There is a lot of heat on that third sip. I think the first sip didn't really hit me with a lot of heat. Maybe it's because I just had the water. But I think that second and third sip, I got a lot more heat, which is fine. I really do like the heat. But I think it's really nice. I'm going to go ahead and rate this an 8.4. I think it's a very solid whiskey. I think this is above weekly sipper level. I don't think that this deserves to be on a pedestal of being a 9.5 whiskey. And this could just be the particular single barrel. I do know a lot of people that have had a lot of Jack Daniel's Coy Hill single barrels, and they said some of them are absolutely incredible. Some of them are good, but nothing absolutely incredible. So it could just be that this particular barrel just isn't absolutely stellar. But it's still really good. It's still really, really good. 8.4 is a great rating. Let's go on to 2024, and let's see how it compares. I saw a drop in there. I couldn't leave that. Man, that candied banana, you just can't beat it. So on this, it's definitely smelling a lot more mellow. It is a little bit sweeter though, which isn't the best thing, isn't the worst thing in the world. I do think that on this, the sweetness is a little bit more discreet. I think on the 2021, it's really candied bananas, so clearly candied bananas. Where on the 2024, it's almost like a richer flavor profile, but just a lot less of it. So I do wonder how like the 135 proof 2024s are going to compare. This is very nice though. Let's take a final sip and let's give it a rating. I like that so much less now. So I thought it was going to be around an 8, 8.1. I'm going to go ahead and rate this a 7.9. I still think it's a great whiskey. I still think for $90, that's an awesome deal. I do think it's pretty flat in comparison to the 2021. 2021 is special, and I don't think we could have expected 2024 to be as good, and I think a lot of people got let down because they expected that. I didn't expect that. I knew that 2021, I mean, how can you beat that? And Jack Daniels even told us, look, this is really the only time we're ever going to have this kind of hazmat whiskey. We don't know how this happened, but we have the hazmat whiskey, so go and enjoy it. And they were right, and I think it's really nice that we had these Coy Hills. I do like this Coy Hill better than the 2022 and 2023 annual releases for what it's worth. I don't think it competes with 2020 or 2021. But I think at some point we'll try to do a flight with all of them if we can, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. But anyways, this was a lot of fun. I hope you all enjoyed it. 2021 is amazing. Wouldn't pay secondary on it, but it's really, really good. It really is the best Jack Daniels in recent memory. 2024, solid. For $90, I'd definitely pay that. I think people are a bit crazy paying $350 for it. I don't think it's that good. I think they're paying for a name, but at $150, maybe, but I really wouldn't go much more than that, at least at 124 proof. But thank you all for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.